What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We got the third major of the year coming at you guys here with the outright king at TeaserNation. How are we feeling this evening, buddy?
Feeling good, man. We got kind of lucky last week. I kind of just threw Nick Taylor in there last second, but no, that was such an electric, finish to it. I was kind of nervous because I thought Fleetwood was going to get me. I was just kind of pissed because I was like, this guy doesn't know how to win, but he shows up again, kind of chokes on the 18th, over and over there. So that was a fun one. That was probably one of my favorite outrights I've ever hit. So.
Yeah,
I'm glad to get back on the board with the outrights. Hopefully we can get 3 for 3 in the majors this week. So
yeah, if you guys have just tuned in for the first time, we appreciate you guys tuning in for the U.S. Open here at LA Country Club. We have been on a tear as of late. I think we've hit like 6 out of the last 10. I mean, this season's been great for outrights for us.
Yep.
Placements, a little bit of a slump in my end. I think I've got like minus something, for the last like 4 weeks in a row. So looking to break that slump on my end coming up. But yeah, we have placements. We got DFS talk. We got some outrights as well. So we will have all the action here for you guys. But before we get going, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you guys are on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you guys throughout the show. But yeah, we'll dive right in. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. If you guys are thinking about some type of player prop, some type of outright that you guys, some type of matchup. I know Teaser's got a couple that he'll throw out tonight as well.
Got a lot, man.
Yeah. So we'll probably be here till about 8:15 or so, depending on how many questions we get. But yeah, Teaser, let's break down this beautiful course that is the first time event for here, and a lot of people are drooling over this, and yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit easier in the first couple rounds than what we'll see on the weekend. But dive in and see what we want to target this weekend.
Yeah. So from what I kind of read all around, it's set up to be like a long course, but it's not going to play too long, I guess, is what I was reading. So I think they set it up as a 7,400 yard par 70, which is long for a par 70. Another nuance is that there's Bermuda fairways and rough. You don't really see that in California. So that's something different, which is pretty cool, actually, just a switch up from like what you see. Really just a course overview, since we haven't really seen this course before. Sloping fairways, so it's going to be kind of hard to hit fairways. A lot of blind shots, firm and fast conditions, like you said, more over the weekend though. Massive elevation changes and angles. Thick Bermuda rough, like I talked about, and around the greens. I was reading it's going to be more important, to hit greens instead of fairways, because the rough around the greens is going to be tough to get out of from that Bermuda. And then the narrative this week is creative shot makers is what you need around here, strategic thinkers. So I guess that's why kind of everyone's fallen back in love with Spieth and Thomas this week, which we'll kind of talk about. But yes, but really scramblers and long irons as well. Just a couple of holes that they have here. I just kind of wanted to touch on because it's pretty still crazy. I can't wrap my head around.
Right.
That there's 5 par 3s. There's one that can set up at 80 yards. That's at 15th hole, where it can be 80 yards, but it's really tough. Rom talked about it today. It's like one of the hardest holes if it's downhill. And then there's 2 that can play up to 300 yards, which is just crazy. Like that's literally for the amateur golfer. People can't even get their driver there, right? So it's going to be a 3-wood for them downhill. Uphill, I don't even know they might be pulling out mini driver, maybe drivers for some guys if it's 290. There's 3 par 5s, 2 are reachable. And then another wild one is there's 6 par 4s that are over 480 yards. And there's one that's 540 yards, which is just crazy. I think 1 par 5 is 530. So there's par 4 that's longer than a par 5, which it's kind of cool because you don't see that in any other course. It's just how they lay it out. Yeah. We'll see how that plays this week. So really what I'm looking at, players to succeed, elite ball strikers who can grind in tough conditions. We're going to need scrambling this week with the small greens. And then I guess we touched on it before the show. People are kind of moving towards the longer hitters off the tee, so more of the bombers this week. And then just another tidbit I'll throw out, a couple course comps, which I'm not going to really look too much into this week, but I thought it was interesting. Augusta National was a big one. So the Masters both have dramatic elevations, emphasis on soft touch around the green, a lot of undulations on the greens as well. And then Southern Hills, last year's PGA, it just has wider fairways, but it's also going to play fast and firm. So the key stats to finish it off that I'll be looking at is kind of total driving. So that kind of factors in good drives, driving distance, and fairways hit, all of the above. Strokes gained approach, which we always kind of look at every week. And then two massive ones for me that I kind of singled out from what I read is bogey avoidance, which is going to be key. And then for me, I put in par 3, 200 plus, because there's going to be 3 that are over 200 yards. So if you're making pars or sneaking birdies on those, that's going to be huge this week, par 3 scoring. So that's what I came up with for kind of a deep dive into it.
Yeah, no, to add to it, these greens, they slope downhill. So everybody's going to want to be below the hole. If you're on top of the hole, you're going to literally have to just like tap it. So it's going to be it's a very strategic golf course. I think that's once you get into the fairway. I think that's why I think a lot of people are going towards the bomber aspect more.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of caddies have come out and said it's a little bit more forgiving off the tee than what a lot of people expected. But I think the approach, which obviously if you're going to talk about approach, you got one of the best or the best in the game is Scotty Scheffler. That's why he's 6-1 to win this thing. Absolutely. Would not, if you have a model, he's probably number one. He's it's no surprise there because the last time he played, he basically should have won the tournament, but he couldn't putt worth a damn. So yeah, Scotty definitely is going to stand out. But one thing
I'll add one more. You said Scheffler can't putt. That's one more thing I wanted to add was I think the basis or consensus of everyone is that you don't really need a putt here. It's kind of nullified. Obviously, it's a major, so if you sprinkle in birdies, you're going to win. But it's not like you need to be putting at just kind of, par's your friend here. So that's the thing. And like you said, like on Monday, everyone's like, you got to hit fairways. But yeah, it resorted to more of you have to hit greens now. So it kind of switched in 2 days once they kind of saw the course. So
exactly.
You don't want to be in the rough around the greens is what I heard.
No, the rough around the greens. That was the video that went viral where he threw 3 balls down and you couldn't even see it. So that's where I think you're gonna have to be. Like strokes gained around the green is a very, very big stat for me this week. And then I love the scrambling and the bogey avoidance. Obviously, if you do strokes gained approach, you're gonna see the most elite ball strikers. So that one you you pillar off of that one. And if you want a difference maker. You're on the fence with somebody in DFS. You want to play them or whatnot. Strokes gained around the green is kind of where I'm drawing the line here. And if they're a little bit ahead of them, I'm going to play them. But then, there's strokes gained tee to green is another one you could do. I'm not worried about accuracy or driving distance too much because, like I said, I think this is going to firm out throughout the weekend. And this course from Thursday, Friday is going to be completely different Saturday, Sunday. And I think even the smaller driver guys could potentially get some length to their drives because it's going to be so fast and firm. So not worried about too much of distance there. But yeah, the strokes gained around the green, creative shot making, it screams, Spieth, Smith, all those guys. It screams those guys. And you probably have heard him before, but man, it's hard to go against these guys when it's this typical course fit right here.
Yep.
So you want to get into some we'll go I got top 20s, top 10s, and then outrights, and then I'll give out a first round leader, and we'll do some DFS value picks and sleepers because everyone's going to kind of already play the chalk already. Right. So I'll tell you guys which ones to avoid. But yeah, you got top 20 and you got some matchups too, right?
Yeah, I'll start with top 20s. I'm going to go with 5 this week, so I'll just go 1, and then you can throw out 1.
Perfect.
So I know we're both big on this guy this week. Kind of fits into the switch of the narrative where it's pretty forgiving off the tee. I didn't like him at first because they said it wasn't forgiving off the tee, but now I know that it is kind of forgiving. I like him, or he's probably my number one top 20 of the week, and that's Cam Smith plus 150. I was surprised to see that number on my local because he's like plus 120 on DraftKings, so I'm really surprised about it. It's really a value play as well, but just hearing the forgiveness off the tee is really the key thing for me because that's only, I mean, if you had to pick one thing out of his game where he struggles, that's it off the tee. He's like 105th in my model. Usually he's, his misses left, that little kind of pull hook he hits. But, the model rank is 28th. It's not like that great, but he's 19th in bogey avoidance. We kind of know who he is already. I mean, he's a great player. He's great in majors. He's going to grind it out for you. I watched him a couple of weeks ago at the DC Live tournament. He looks pretty in shape, or pretty good. I think he came in, or he had a bad Sunday, but he was in contention for a little bit. So his game looks like it's pretty solid. So he finished 9th in the PGA Championship a month ago. So he's always there in contention. So I like him this week, top 20.
Yeah, you can even go off of a course comp of Augusta, and he's gotten 4 top 10 finishes there in the last 6 years.
Yep.
Guy, when I think of grinder courses, a lot of people think of Brooks. I mean, I'm hand in hand with Cam Smith right there. So Cam is another guy that I'm on as well for top 20. What'd you get? I got plus 125.
Yeah, so that's what is on DraftKings. I got plus 150 on my local because usually my local's like crappier odds. So I looked, I was like, they're pulling out some good odds for top 20. So
right, yeah, and I could see them competing as well here. So I plus 125 is a great number, I think, for Cam. Obviously, if we can get a little bit higher, go ahead with that. But I think these live guys have come into this with a chip on their shoulder on each major, and I don't think that stops. Once again, these guys want to compete with the best, and obviously have shown in these first 2 that they can. He was top 10 at PGA. He was 34th at the Masters. So I think he's going to get better here, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see a top 10 finish or above from Cam Smith this weekend. He's an absolute great course fit. He can shape his shot, be creative around the greens, and of course he can make some putts too. So as long as he's, it's not as crazy off the tee as a lot of people are thinking, I think he can compete this weekend for sure. So I'll go. My other one I got. You don't like this guy. I mean, it's not that you don't like this guy, but it's a major, and I'm sitting there, and you're like, oh no, it's not going to be him. Not going to be him. I'm going to go back to the well because I did it last PGA, and I'm going to go Max Homa plus 130, and I'm going to go top 20 here. I'm not going to go anything else with Homa, but man, you can play the LA narrative. He's played this course multiple times in his lifetime. You go back to if you go to the Augusta, he's a top 40, got 48 and 43, but just I got a hunch here with Homa. Recent play isn't that great because I've tried to play him in the PGA. He got 55th. Schwab, he got a top 20 or a top 10, but it's just back on the West Coast, and we knew what Max Homa did early on in the season on the West Coast. It's just crazy. Guys go back to where they like to play, and they play significantly better. So let's see if we can get some luck here with Homa plus 130 at top 20.
Yeah, I'll talk about him later because I might have him somewhere else, but we'll get to that. But yeah, no, I don't mind him either. But my next guy, we've kind of talked about, or I've bet him actually a lot the last couple months. He's having a breakout year. And Justin Rose at plus 170. I kind of just threw him in there. I was like, I kind of have to at this point. 8th last week. He kind of crumbled on Sunday, but it's still a top 20. Charles Schwab, 12th. PGA Championship, tied for 9th. 16th at the Masters. So this guy's been just rattling off top 20s this year. And then he's a 25th at RBC. So that's pretty close as well. The key stat I like to look at, the 2 majors, he's came in top 20. I think in the PGA, he was second in made birdies behind Brooks. So, he was just kind of there in red numbers the whole week. He gained like 3 strokes that week. So he's one of the hottest players on tour this year. He's kind of having a resurgence like a year, like I said. So I definitely like him to top 20 this week as well. He's one of those guys who just kind of shows up in the majors as well. His game fits.
His ownership absolutely stunned me. Whenever I was going to make my lineups, I'm sitting there and I'm like, he's really getting close to 30%.
Is he?
He's the highest owned golfer this week on DraftKings.
That's not good for me then.
It's just because it's a total misprice. He should not be in the 7,000s. I think he's 7.7, and he should be like low 8s.
Yeah.
But the way a lot of people are constructing their lineups is they're going Big Scotty, Big Rom, and then they're going in that 7,000 range. Yeah. And it is just those 7,000 guys. If you guys can get any different this week, go a lot balanced builds with the 9,000s and the 8,000s and see what you can come up with. It'd be completely different than a lot of people are building their lineups there. So the balance build this week is crucial. So yeah, I love Justin Rose. I love the way he's been playing, and I don't mind it one bit what you're doing here. I'm going to be under the field though. Just get some leverage on the field because I think him getting close to 30% is pretty outrageous.
Yeah, that is.
It's just a pure misprice on DraftKings part, and I think everybody's just going right to it with how they're constructing their lineups. So I'll get to my last top 20, and it is a guy that I was on early in the season, and I wish I continued to be on this guy. I've faded him, or not faded him, but I've doubted him throughout, thinking he could not keep this up. But man, Ricky has turned in a solid season. If you look back at some of his recent tournaments, Memorial 9th, Schwab 6th, miscut at the last major. That's where I'm a little weary on, but you got Wells Fargo before that, 14th, 15th, 10th at the Valero, 13th at the Players. I mean, he's a top 20 king this year. I mean, and he's probably plus 200s, plus 300s at some of those particular tournaments. So I'm going to the well here. I'm going plus 175, Ricky. Again, he's a guy, tee to green. He's top 12 for sure in PGA. And then he's around the green. He's top 30-ish. So not terrible, but I think that tee to green is where he's going to have a little bit of an edge. This season, he's just drove the ball incredibly well. So I really like the way Ricky has played. I think I'm getting a pretty good number here, plus 175. I think you told me that one of your buddies got like plus 200 earlier on in the week. So shop around, see if you guys can get a little bit better number, but plus 175 is what I'm playing.
Yeah, it was between Fowler and Rose for me. I'm just taking a different angle with Rose, but I like Fowler a lot too. So yeah, that's definitely, I think, a solid play this week as well. But for my third pick, I know you like this one. I don't really bet this guy, honestly. We haven't really had a chance to, obviously, because he's at Live now. But I kind of went for more of a, not like a long shot approach with the top 20s, but more of value, kind of in the 200 to 300 range this week. So I guess you can say more of long shot, and that's Patrick Reed at plus 275.
And if you've ever tuned into this show, I usually throw out some stupid Patrick Reed stuff, but I'm so glad teaser's on Reed, because you think of a grinder, out course, got to be Patty.
That's really. I mean, I was thinking top 30 just to be safer, but I mean, it's in the majors. It's, I don't know. I guess it probably would be smarter, but this value is tough to pass up with the 275. So I mean, at the Masters, we saw him get T4, I think, top 5 there. PGA Championship tied for 18th. He gained, I believe, 2 strokes total overall. He actually did okay off the tee. It was more the putter, but yeah, like you said, I mean, if I'm hearing it's gonna be tough around the greens, this is probably one of the best. I mean, I would put him up there with Spieth as one of the best short games, like in the past decade, honestly. So I mean, he's not underrated, but like everyone knows about his short game, but I don't think it gets enough credit. So I think this is definitely a place for him as well. So yeah, like we said, I mean, he's just one of those guys. He's like kind of like he's not obviously not a mini Brooks. He doesn't win majors that much, but like he's always contending.
He's always around. So, always around.
Yeah, always there. So that's my third one.
And he doesn't rank great in the model. But
No, that's because he's been at Live. I mean,
yeah,
that just factors in the past 50 rounds when he was kind of bad. Like 2 years ago, he wasn't playing his best. But you can't really. It doesn't factor in the Masters, I don't think, or PGA. So I mean,
yeah.
he gained a lot at the Masters as well. So that's always great to see.
Yeah, and those are my top 20s. You got other couple others you want to share, or you want
Yeah,
to go to top 10s?
I'll throw out two more. I won't talk too much about them. Honestly, I've been kind of riding this guy in majors recently. He actually didn't top my PG top or didn't get the PGA Championship top 20. I think he was in contention a little bit, but that's Keegan Bradley at plus 320.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of that guy, he can kind of grind it out as well. It was tough to pass up on the plus 320. He's always usually in the red numbers in a major, so he'll be around there. Hopefully, he can kind of put 4 rounds together is kind of the main issue with him. He'll usually go maybe 4 or 5 over on a Saturday or Sunday in a major, which kind of screws you in the top 20s. But if he can kind of hang around, he's one of those guys. He just his game kind of fits, that major style. He's an elite approach player. He's not a great putter, obviously. We all know that, but you don't really need the putter here, so that's good. And then my last one is kind of playing the narrative. He's from around here. That's Sahith Theegala at plus 350.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't get right whatsoever.
yeah, no, he's been horrendous the past couple tournaments, I think. But I've been kind of reading on Twitter. He's pretty familiar with this place. He's played a lot here. I would say his game kind of fits here. He's pretty erratic off the tee, which supposedly is not that bad this week. He's pretty good with his iron. So I think he's kind of that sneaky guy where you don't know if he's like we don't really know what he is yet. He's kind of just finding his form on the PGA Tour. Like I said, his last recents T38, 58, 40, 56, not that bad, or not that good. Sorry. 9th at the Masters, which, kind of sticks out to me because that's that comp course I was talking about where he gained 3 strokes total there. So kind of taking a flyer on him, probably only to be half a unit for those plus 300 guys.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm going to I'll go right to the top 10 for me. We got the commenter Steve.
Everyone loves him, man. Everyone loves him.
I have a long shot on him as an outright, so it's not an official play, but I did take plus 11,000 for an outright for Theegala. Just a little sprinkle there, nothing crazy, but I do think he can compete this weekend for sure. But my top 10 is very chalky, I guess you could say. I'm going to go Spieth plus 220. I'm going to go Xander plus 180. And then I'm going to go Rory plus 150. I mean, if you've seen Xander's track record at U.S. Opens, he's a top 10 machine. Obviously, it's a different course each and every year. So, take that with a grain of salt. But this guy does love to compete here in the U.S. Opens. Spieth, we've been talking about him all stream long. Love the creative, the shot making that he can bring. It's one of those cases where, man, if everybody's on Spieth, you should probably stay away. And then if no one's on Spieth, you should hammer them. But in this case, I think it's worth it here, and I really, really think it's a good course fit. So I'll go plus 220 there for top 20 or for top 10. And then Rory, if you've watched golf recently, obviously has not been playing very well whatsoever. But I mean, he faded last in the round 4 for the Canadian Open.
He's been bad on Sunday.
But I did see glimpses of how he could win this thing, or at least be top 10 in the last 4 U.S. Opens. He's got 4 top 10s as well. So I'm riding that wave. I think he's got something to prove here once again. And man, it's another U.S. Open for Rory that I think he can compete in. Obviously, a guy long off the tee. He can be creative with the shots if he needs to be. So he's got all the tools to be so damn good. So give me those 3 for the top 10. You got any?
I don't have any right now, but I'll look later to kind of see what I like. But you're more the top 10 guy. I don't ever get them right. So
we got their comment says take Sahith first round leader. What does that
I don't mind it.
Theegala, what
I
is
think
that?
he's
80 to 1. 80 to 1.
Yeah.
Man, don't mind. I have a first round leader I'll give out shortly on. I don't hate it. First round leaders are really, really crazy hits there. And Theegala, I'm on him outright. Might as well get him right for the first round. So go right ahead there. We got Ricky plus 5,000. Is that for outrights? Let us know on that.
I assume that's
It's got to be for outright. Yeah. I'm not picking him to win, man. I think he can definitely be up there.
I don't think Ricky's not going to win a U.S. Open, but
hey, he's been playing well this year, so we'll see. So yeah, I'll give out, since we're talking about first round leaders. We've been talking about this guy every single time, or we've been talking about him having to take him the next major, and that is Victor Hovland. I'm not going to take him; he's not on my card, but I am going to. What he's been doing a lot of times has been really good in the first round.
Yeah.
So 35 to 1, first round leader. I'm going to pull the trigger on Victor Hovland here. You got any first rounds that you like?
I could probably back that Hovland, honestly. I like that. Who else? I mean, yeah, I don't mind Theegala either. Another guy, kind of sleeper, Neiman as well.
Mm-hmm. Neiman, yep.
Neiman. Yeah,
if you guys have seen any of the weather, there's not truly, too much wave advantages here. It's nothing,
not too bad,
nothing crazy with the wind, rain, anything like that. So don't have to worry about those when you're making your DFS lineups there.
Honestly, yeah, Hovland. Honestly, Scheffler or Rahm too can't go wrong. They're usually there too, but I mean, 20 to 1 on a first round lead. I don't even know if that's worth it. So,
yeah. All right. Do you want to get it to some outrights before we go? Actually, let's go some sleepers. Let's go to sleepers and we'll end it on the outrights. So, couple sleepers that I like for DFS. So, like I said earlier in the stream, if you guys are building your lineups currently, or if you have built them, a lot of people are going to go with the stars and scrubs. That's the way. That's the way a lot of the public plays. So in these majors. So what how to get different here? Let's go balance, build, route. How you do that is make sure you have maybe 3 guys in the 8,000, 1 guy in the 9,000, maybe high in the 7,000s. So more 8s and 9,000 guys than reaching up to those 10s and then going down to those 7,000, 6,000 guys. So that's how you get a little bit more balanced build aspect from there. Because like I said earlier, Rose is too highly owned. He's like at 30%. You don't need him to be. You don't need to target that guy. Another guy that I think is a little bit way too high is Bryson. He's at 20, 22, 23%. I think a lot of people are going on the bomber train, going on his past success in the last major, which we did give out as a sleeper, which is like a 2% sleeper, which I wish I would have put all of the sleepers into that one lineup because I nailed all of them.
Yeah.
But then you also have other chalk. Fleetwood, Fowler is pretty chalky, but for good reason. Rory and Scheffler, and then Adam Scott. Those guys all round up 20% and above. The guys that I would fade here, just go under the field on, is Bryson and Rose. Maybe go under the field on Fleetwood just a bit.
I fade Fleetwood a little bit, I think.
Yeah, man, that inning was a little rough to watch.
Yeah, I think a little let down after that, I think.
Yeah. And then a couple the value plays this week. There's a lot of them. This is the balanced build route. I still think if you want to pivot off of Scheffler, you can go Rahm. That's not a bad idea because Rahm's coming in like 15% ish. So compared to Scheffler's 25%, you can definitely get some value there. But the main 3 that I think are the 3 ones to go with are Cam, Spieth, and then Brooks is a little bit expensive at 10.8, but I think that's okay, and you're getting 12%. Usually guys that just won the last major come in at like 20%. So I have no idea why no one's going to Brooks, but I will gladly take that discount ownership wise, and target him. Maybe go double the field on with Brooksy there. But you also got Homa, Hideki, Fitzpatrick, and Thomas that you guys can target that are all in that 7 to 10% range. Lot. And then if you want to even target off of Brooks and get a little bit less of a discount, Patrick Cantlay. See, he's just a boring guy to target. He's just boring. Plain and simple. You don't want to bet the guy. You don't want to put him in your DFS lineups. And all of a sudden it's Sunday and he's top 5, and you're like, why the hell did I not do that? So just not a sexy name to put in there, but definitely some value. And then some sleepers.
Yeah.
Number 1 sleeper of the week, Munoz. He's coming in at 6.7. He's at 3%. Another one that I like, for some reason, Shane Lowry just gets no love in the DFS game anymore. He's 8.5K, but he's coming in at like 5%, 6%. A very, very tough course. Always screams Shane Lowry to me. And then a couple other guys. Wyndham Clark has got some steam. And then you have Neiman. And one guy that I did talk to Teaser about the stream that I liked a lot was Tom Kim. We always talk about a guy that can gain strokes, via the approach around the green, ball striking. Tom Kim's that guy. So it would not surprise me if he's up there come Sunday. But yeah, those are some guys DFS wise, if you guys are playing to target, to give maybe some salary relief. But like I said, you do that balance build where you got some 9s in the 8,000 range, you're going to be completely different from a lot of those guys that are shoving in Scheffler, Rory, Rose, Fleetwood, Scott, and Fowler. So that's a quick little rundown of DFS. If you guys have any questions, DM me, join the Discord, ask away all you want. So you want to go into your outrights?
Yeah. I'll throw in 2 sleepers I had too, if you want. We talked about Reed already, but one guy we haven't talked about, I'm going to probably take a live top 20 on him because he goes that afternoon Thursday, so I might wait on him, is Mito Pereira. I think he'll play well. He plays good in majors.
He's everywhere this week. He's everywhere.
But he plays real good in majors, so I kind of like him. And then 2 more sleepers that we haven't talked about. Ryan Fox is another sleeper. He's one of those guys that, the narrative. He's European guy. He really, really tough in majors. So that's another guy. And then another guy's Harris English. Sneaky good in majors, Harris English. Okay. It's like if you look at his kind of track record, I think he's kind of been up there a little bit in majors. If you kind of just think about his game, it kind of makes sense actually. Just his game kind of fits major course conditions. So yeah, I'll kind of throw out my outrights. Now, I don't know how
the outright king. Everybody writing their stuff down right now.
Everyone's going to laugh because I'm going just not chalk, but like just obvious. I'm going to start out with, I got on Monday on my local Scotty Scheffler 8-1. It's just like, sometimes I think people, I know they try to do like these long shots, like, they have unit allocation. It's like, sometimes you just gotta look at look at how he's playing. You know what I mean? Like, the top guys win majors usually. There's sometimes sprinkle in on like a kind of medium guy in there, but he's gonna win a major this year. I think it's gonna be this one. I mean, obviously he's number 1 in the model. He just laps the field, tee to green. Like I said, he also has a new putter in the bag this week. So you can't get any worse than what he did at Memorial. So
you really couldn't.
I mean, I guess that's a good sign. Like, I mean, if he puts just a sliver better than what he did, I mean, he's gonna lap the field this week. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I haven't been this like, I don't bet Scotty Scheffler ever because it's like this number. But in majors, I did it with Rahm in the Masters. It's just you have a feeling, it's a gut feeling. So I think he gets his major this week. So that's my first one.
Yeah, obviously I would use him at my one and done if I could, but I've already used him there. I'm actually going to go Jordan Spieth this week for mine. So I haven't used him up. If you guys are in some one and dones, I still got my 30-point lead. So I think Jordan can get me there. It's double the points for the majors, and I've hit both of them thanks to you, Teaser. So
hey,
so we will see if I can do this one, but Yeah, I can't take Scotty. I already took him. So
Yeah.
let us know in the comments if you guys are taking anybody for one and done, or who you guys like, who you guys are liking for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna go Spieth. I think that's my pick to click for sure.
I'll say Cam Smith for my one and done.
Cam, yep.
Yeah.
Well, talking about both of them. So Spieth is an outright for me at 30-1, and then I also have Cam Smith at 30-1 for that. So two guys I'm targeting a lot in DFS. Two guys that I'm targeting in the betting markets. This course, like I said, it just fits them very, very nicely. And you can't go wrong going with Scotty. You can't go wrong going with Rahm, Brooks, Rory, Cantlay, or whatever it is. But man, Spieth and Smith, I think that's a good number. 30-1 on both of those guys.
Yeah, I like that.
Going top 10s, kind of be a little more safe, and you can go top 20s as well with those guys. I wanted to take Spieth top 20, but he was minus 105 or something like that, so I wasn't going to take that. But if you can find a different number, you can definitely take that. So my last outright that I got is I'm going to do the 3+300 boost on DK, and I'm going to go with the top 10 king. Maybe he gets it done finally, and that is Xander. So Xander, I'm making him 21-1 odds here. Obviously, I think I like the top 10 play a little bit better. I'm just trying to see if I can get some spray here with the outright, and those three make a lot of sense to be up there on Sunday, and having some type of sweat. And let's see if we can get an outright for sure on one of those guys.
Yeah, I got two more. I got my DK boost. It was between this guy and Xander. Xander's a could win type of guy, and this guy he's gonna win. And that's Brooks again. 15-1 I got with the DK boost, which is actually pretty solid, honestly. The model rank, it doesn't even matter there's no stats. It's just the one thing I am worried about. He's probably been hungover the past month since the PGA Championship. That's like the one thing. I mean, I'm sure he'll be ready. Like I heard his practice round, he was kind of killing it a little bit. So, he's going to contend again. There's not really much to say about him. We talk about it every major. Everyone talks about it. That's just what he does. Yeah. That's what he gets up for. And then my last one, this is a futures bet. You can get this guy at 35-1 now, but I got 50-1 after he won at Torrey Pines in January, because I figured the line would go down a little more than 35, but still got some value. Max Homa. So after January, I was like, wow, the U.S. Open's in California. Like, I love that narrative. This week, I'm a little hesitant on him, obviously, because of the majors. I kind of wanted to see him, gain a little more confidence in the majors. He didn't really do much at the PGA, but I like the value on this line. You can't go wrong. I sprinkled it back in January, so there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, he's at home playing the narrative that he's at home. So I don't hate him, but it's not my favorite play, but we're wide with it. It's already in. So, and then there's one guy I've been going back and forth about this all week. We haven't talked about him at all. I think it's wild that Fleetwood's 45-1 and this guy's 50-1. You can go check the DraftKings board right now and tell me who it is.
Yeah, you're talking about JT.
I am talking. Yep, I am. I've been going back and forth in my head just to put honestly, just sprinkle it. I just don't understand that 50-1. I get he's been really bad this year, but Tommy Fleetwood is 45 and he's 50-1. That does not that's just disrespectful. So I've been going. I don't know if that would be my last one. I just think I don't see him winning this. I don't, but it's just hard not to take that number. I think they did it on purpose so they can entice people to take it. I think that's the only reason why. So
he's usually in the plus 2,000 range,
right? Or even we've seen him 30, 35-1, which
even then I was like, okay, that's a lot. That's a good number for him.
That's what I'm saying. I've never seen him over 30-5-1 ever. In the past, I've only kind of been getting into the gambling part of golf for the past 3 or 4 years, but I'm sure he hasn't been like this for 6-7 years because he's he's been elite player for that long.
But then again, it's us who've watched golf and we're like, man, that's a really good number, but he's not going to win.
I agree. The one narrative we've been hearing is it's such a shot shaper course. That's what JT is, but he's just not on his game. It's hard to trust him right now. He might get off to a hot start, but we'll see. I just can't see him winning. So,
Man, I really hope you're right on Bradley. I think I'm gonna add him to my player pool. I didn't have him in mind, so I think you've talked me into some Keegan. I usually don't like to play Keegan unless like he's just one of those East Coast players to me. I think I don't know why. So
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because the PGA was in his hometown, or not hometown, but around Boston. So
yeah, I
yeah,
remember
that's a
that
good
big
point.
article
Actually,
about him coming home, and then he played very, very well that weekend. But
it is a good point. But I do like his grinderman. I just
yeah,
ride with
no,
the
I
grinder.
think his
So
game could definitely get it. So I'm gonna probably add him to the player pool. A couple lineups here and there. Another guy that stands out. He's kind of right there. Corey Connors and Russell Henley. Those two guys.
yeah, Henley, I like.
Yeah, I mean Connors always a very, very good approach player. He can get hot and compete right there. He's with Wyndham Clark, Reed, Connors, Piera, Henley, right around that range. So a couple other guys that I've eyed, but I have not hit the bet button on. I'm just going through the list here. Like Burns, not touching him this week. He absolutely kicked my ass last week. Cam Young, same thing, kicked my ass last week.
Not
And
touching. Nope.
I'm not touching him. So that means he's going to go 4 under first round and be the
Probably,
leader. Bryson, I said I wasn't going to touch. And, the infamous Morikawa. What are you doing this weekend with him?
I think I'm not even touching him. I'm going to take Cam Smith over him in a tournament matchup.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. Plus 115 on Cam Smith. That's stupid. So that's just dumb value there. Morikawa, I'm over him. I told everyone I'm done with him. I'm not betting him for the foreseeable future. I'm not getting wrapped up in. Plus, he has a little back thing. He's like teeing up. He's like bending over to tee up the ball weird this week. I think the back's a little bit bothered still. Everyone's like, oh, it's his hometown. He plays well here. I don't even care if he plays well on his. I'm like, that's the one guy I'm so over, man. He's like, I think he's such a fluke. Like, honestly.
Someone told me that today. It was like, oh, this is home course. And I said, hey, I play really shitty at my home course.
Yeah,
so.
like it's a home course thing. I mean, for the pros, it's like sometimes you can see it, like it's great vibes, but you can't just say like he could be shooting in the 80s like the past 2 weeks. Just because he's coming back home doesn't mean he's gonna play well. He has a couple back issues, so it's like he just withdrew 2 weeks ago. I don't know how his back got well in a week and a half. So I don't know.
Yeah. Then you got 2 other guys, Fitzpatrick, who we've been on a lot this year. I don't hate him, just didn't make the card for me. And then Hatton. Those 2 are very, very good golfers. I can see them competing. They are in my player pool. I do have some exposure to both of them. I just did not get to them on my card. But if you guys do want to play them this week, I don't have a problem. Hatton, I've always been a guy with Hatton who's it's a tough golf course.
He's good.
Play Hatton. Yeah. So any other final words before we get up on out of here?
No, man. We'll see Sunday when Scheffler 8-1 cashes. That's all I gotta say. It's gonna happen. So
there you go. So yeah, if you guys want additional plays, make sure you guys check out Hammer and Hakes VIP for teasers, and then you guys can join the Discord below. We threw out some Scheffler top 10s that cashed mid rounds as well. So we throw some live plays out from time to time. So make sure you guys join the Discord, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll be back. Actually, not next week. I haven't told Teaser this, but I'm on vacation. We're going to Destin, Florida for a week. So I'll be back the following Wednesday. So not for Travelers. What's the tournament after Travelers?
What is that? I don't even know what's after Travelers.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah,
probably something. I don't even. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah,
we'll figure it out. So it'll be a week break after this U.S. Open for us, stream wise. Obviously, we'll still be betting. I can still throw those cards out on Twitter and Discord. So, but with that, let's cash another outright here for the U.S. Open, golf's third major of the year. Let's see if Teaser can go 3 for 3, or if I get my first major win of the year. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys.